One of the most overlooked yet powerful things a man desires in his dream woman is emotional safety. Now, when I say emotional safety, I'm not talking about being a doormat or never challenging him. I'm talking about creating a space where he feels he can show up as himself without judgment, without fear, and without constantly having to prove his worth. See, men may not always articulate this, but deep down, they are terrified of emotional rejection. They may put on a confident front, act like they have it all figured out, but the truth is, just like anyone else, they crave a place where they can lower their guard. A man's dream woman is someone who makes him feel like he can share his fears, his uncertainties, and even his failures without it being used against him later. Because, let's be honest, a lot of men have had experiences where vulnerability was met with criticism or even worse, mockery. And when that happens enough times, they shut down, they retreat. They become emotionally distant, not because they don't feel, but because they don't feel safe to express. Now, here's what's important to understand. Creating emotional safety doesn't mean agreeing with everything he says or letting him get away with things. It means allowing him to express himself without immediate punishment. It's about giving him the space to work through his emotions without labeling him as weak or incapable. If a man admits to struggling with something, the last thing he wants to hear is, "Why are you acting like this? Just get over it." What he needs in that moment is the reassurance that his feelings matter, that he's not being seen as less of a man for opening up. So how does a woman create that space? It starts with listening. Not listening to respond, not listening to fix, but listening to understand. There's nothing more powerful than when a man feels like his words carry weight with you. That doesn't mean you have to coddle him or sugarcoat the truth, but it does mean acknowledging what he's sharing before rushing in with a solution. Sometimes he doesn't need a solution. He just needs to be heard. Imagine a moment where he opens up about something that's been weighing on him, maybe a challenge at work or a personal insecurity. If your instinct is to immediately correct him or tell him how he should be handling it better, what you've done, without realizing it, is made him feel like he's failing in your eyes. And when a man feels like he's failing the woman he cares about, he'll start holding back. Not because he doesn't trust you, but because he doesn't want to be seen as inadequate. And that's where emotional distance begins. But when a woman responds with something as simple as, "That sounds really tough. I can see why you'd feel that way," it changes everything. That one moment tells him that he's not crazy for feeling what he's feeling, that he's not alone in it, and that he doesn't have to pretend to be bulletproof around you. And that is powerful, because when a man feels emotionally safe, he lets you into a part of his world that no one else gets to see. And here's where it gets even more interesting. When a man feels emotionally safe, he naturally becomes more open, more connected, and more invested in the relationship. See, a lot of people think that men pull away because they don't want commitment, but in many cases, it's not commitment they fear, it's failure within commitment. If a man feels like no matter what he does, it won't be good enough, he won't try as hard. But when he feels like he's valued not just for what he does, but for who he is, that's when he steps up. That's when he commits with his whole heart. It's not about never disagreeing or avoiding tough conversations. In fact, emotional safety makes those tough conversations easier because there's a foundation of trust. If he knows that you're not looking for reasons to tear him down, he'll actually listen when you bring something up that needs to change. A man who feels safe will work with you, not against you, because he knows you're not trying to win, you're trying to understand. And let's be clear, this goes both ways. Just as you want a man who makes you feel safe to express your emotions, he wants the same from you. The relationship becomes unshakable when both people know that they can be fully seen, flaws and all, and still be deeply loved and respected. That is the kind of connection that lasts. That is what makes a man look at a woman and say, "She's the one." There's something truly magnetic about a woman who brings playfulness into a relationship. And I'm not talking about just cracking jokes or being entertaining. I mean that deep, effortless kind of energy that makes a man feel alive when he's around her. It's not about being the loudest person in the room or constantly putting on a show. It's about the way she carries herself, the way she teases without being cruel, the way she knows exactly how to keep the connection fresh and exciting. You see, attraction isn't just about looks. A man might be drawn to someone's physical appearance at first, but what makes him stay, what makes him crave her presence, is the feeling she gives him when he's with her. And there's nothing more addictive than a woman who knows how to keep things light, fun, and filled with energy. She doesn't take herself too seriously, and that alone makes her stand out. Imagine this. You're on a date, and the conversation is flowing, but it feels like an interview. You ask a question, she answers. She asks a question, you answer. It's polite, it's fine, but it's missing something. Now imagine a different scenario. She leans in with a smirk and says, "So tell me, is this the part where you try to impress me with a story about how you saved a puppy from a burning building? It's playful, it's flirty, it disrupts the ordinary, and suddenly you're both laughing." That's the kind of energy that draws a man in, not just answering questions, but creating moments that make the interaction feel effortless. A man wants to feel that chemistry, that spark. And it's often built in these small, seemingly insignificant moments. A woman who can be playful, who isn't afraid to joke around, who knows how to laugh at herself, that's the woman who keeps him thinking about her long after she's gone. Why? Because she makes him feel good. She makes life feel lighter. And in a world that's often heavy, that's an irresistible quality. But here's the key. This kind of energy isn't about performing or trying too hard. It's not about memorizing funny lines or forcing yourself to be someone you're not. It's about being comfortable enough in yourself to let go of the need to be perfect. A woman who's at ease in her own skin naturally invites others to feel at ease around her. That's where the magic happens. When a man feels like he can relax, like he doesn't have to prove himself, like he can just enjoy the moment, that's when the deepest attraction forms. Some women worry that if they're too playful, they won't be taken seriously. That's a mistake. Being playful doesn't mean lacking depth. In fact, it's often the most intelligent, emotionally secure women who master this balance. They can shift between being fun and being serious, knowing when to keep things light and when to have meaningful conversations. It's not an either-or scenario. It's about bringing the right energy at the right time. And let's talk about teasing. Teasing is one of the most underrated forms of connection. When done right, it builds tension, excitement, and intrigue. A little push and pull, a little challenge. These are the things that make interactions electric. A woman who teases in a way that's playful rather than mean-spirited makes a man feel like he's in a game he never wants to stop playing. It keeps things interesting. Predictability is the death of attraction, but playfulness is what keeps it alive. Now, here's the mistake that a lot of people make. They think that being playful means being overly sarcastic or constantly making jokes. But that's not it. True playfulness comes from presence. It comes from paying attention, from noticing the little things, from reacting in a way that adds energy to the moment instead of taking energy away. A woman who is fully engaged in the present moment, who listens, who responds with wit, who isn't afraid to challenge a man in a fun way, creates an energy that is absolutely magnetic. Think about the best connections you've ever had. They probably weren't built on the most serious conversations. They were built on moments where you felt completely at ease, where laughter came naturally, where you lost track of time because the interaction was just that good. That's what a man wants with his dream woman. Not just someone to talk to, but someone to play with, someone who keeps him on his toes, someone who brings a little bit of adventure into everyday life. And this doesn't mean you have to be over the top or constantly trying to entertain. Sometimes the smallest, most subtle things create the biggest impact. The way you smirk when he says something ridiculous. The way you steal a fry off his plate without asking. The way you challenge him to a ridiculous bet just to see if he'll play along. These are the moments that stay with him. These are the moments that make him feel something real. A man wants a woman who makes him feel like life is an experience, not a routine. He wants to be with someone who adds excitement, not just through big gestures, but through the way she approaches even the simplest things. And when a woman understands this, when she masters the art of keeping things playful while still being authentic, she becomes unforgettable. Attraction isn't about looking perfect or saying the perfect thing. It's about energy. It's about how you make someone feel. If you can be the person who brings lightness, who makes him laugh, who knows how to turn an ordinary moment into something fun, you won't just be the woman he's interested in. You'll be the woman he can't stop thinking about. A high-value man doesn't want a woman who needs him. He wants a woman who chooses him. There's a massive difference between the two, and it's where so many people get stuck. When someone needs you, there's an undertone of dependence. It's not about mutual desire. It's about filling a gap, plugging a hole, making up for something that's missing in their life. And that's not attractive. That's pressure. But when someone chooses you, when they have a full life, their own passions, their own identity, and still turn around and say, I want you, that's where the magic happens. Think about it. When you first meet someone, attraction is built on curiosity. You see them across the room or you match on an app, and there's something about them that intrigues you. Maybe it's the way they carry themselves, the way they speak, the way they smile, like they know something you don't. That initial attraction isn't built on familiarity. It's built on mystery. It's built on the idea that this person has their own world and you want to step into it. Now, if that person suddenly drops everything for you, stops doing the things they love, stops seeing their friends, stops working on themselves, that mystery vanishes. That independence, that passion, that spark that made them so attractive in the first place, gone. And suddenly, what was once exciting starts to feel heavy. The dynamic shifts from, I want to be around this person, to this person is relying on me for their happiness. That's a burden no one wants to carry. A man doesn't want to feel like he's your entire world. He wants to feel like he's stepping into an already incredible life, one that's filled with purpose, excitement, and depth. That's what makes someone magnetic. It's not just about having a hobby or a career. It's about having something that lights you up, something that makes your eyes sparkle when you talk about it, something that gives you energy outside of the relationship. Because here's the truth. A relationship is only as strong as the two individuals in it. If one person loses themselves, the whole thing starts to fall apart. Imagine you meet someone who is completely obsessed with you. At first, it might feel flattering. You're their priority. They make time for you. They're always available. But over time, it starts to feel suffocating. There's no challenge, no excitement, no tension. And that's because when someone gives up everything for a relationship, they lose the very thing that made them attractive to begin with, their sense of self. Passion isn't just about romance. It's about having something in your life that keeps your fire burning, something that you're chasing, something that fulfills you outside of love. When you have that, you bring energy into a relationship instead of draining it. It's not about playing games. It's not about pretending to be busy or acting like you don't care. It's about genuinely creating a life that excites you. So when someone enters it, they're not there to complete you, they're there to complement you. The healthiest relationships are built on two people who don't need each other, but still make the conscious decision to be together every single day. That choice, that freedom, is what keeps the relationship alive. When a man sees a woman who is deeply passionate about something, who lights up when she talks about what she loves, he doesn't see someone who is too busy for him. He sees someone worth chasing. He sees someone worth investing in. He sees someone who makes him want to be better because she's already doing it for herself. Confidence isn't just about how you look or how you speak. It's about how you live. It's about showing up for yourself in a way that makes people respect you. It's about having standards, not just for the people in your life, but for yourself. It's about knowing that your happiness isn't dependent on whether or not someone texts you back. It's about having a purpose so strong that when someone walks into your life, they know they're stepping into something valuable. And that's powerful. Because here's the thing. A man doesn't fall in love with a woman because she makes him her everything. He falls in love because she's already everything on her own. If you want to be truly magnetic, start with yourself. Build a life that excites you. A life that makes you wake up in the morning feeling inspired, not for anyone else, not for validation, but because it makes you feel alive. That energy, that self-respect, that passion, that's what makes you irresistible. And when the right person comes along, they won't just be attracted to you, they'll admire you, they'll respect you, and most importantly, they'll choose you over and over again. You know, there's something incredibly attractive about a woman who understands emotional maturity. And I don't just mean knowing how to stay calm in an argument or handling tough conversations with grace. I mean the kind of deep emotional intelligence that makes a man feel like he's with someone who truly gets it. Someone who can make life easier, not harder. Someone who knows that love isn't just about fireworks and passion. It's about how you show up when things aren't perfect. A man's dream woman isn't the one who reacts emotionally to everything he says, turning small problems into huge conflicts. It's not the woman who plays games, giving the silent treatment or making him guess what's wrong. It's the woman who understands that communication isn't about winning, it's about connection. It's the woman who, when she feels hurt or misunderstood, doesn't just lash out, but instead takes a breath and says, "This is how I feel, and this is what I need." That level of emotional intelligence is rare, and when a man finds it, he knows he's found something truly special. Because here's the thing, every man, whether he admits it or not, has experienced that kind of exhausting relationship where every disagreement turns into a battle, where he walks on eggshells because he doesn't know what's going to set her off. That's not the kind of relationship he wants to come home to after a long day. That's not the kind of relationship he wants to commit his life to. A man's dream woman is the one who brings a sense of calm, not chaos. And that doesn't mean she never gets upset or never has emotions. Of course not. It means that when things get tough, she has the ability to navigate those moments in a way that brings them closer, not pushes them apart. A man wants a woman who understands that disagreements aren't a threat. They're an opportunity to understand each other better. Instead of yelling or shutting down, she's the one who says, "Let's figure this out together." Instead of assuming the worst, she asks questions. She wants to understand his perspective, just as she wants him to understand hers. And when a man finds that kind of emotional maturity in a woman, it changes everything. Because what happens when a woman can handle conflict with grace? What happens when she knows how to express her needs without attacking, without making him the enemy? He starts to trust her on a level he's never trusted anyone before. He feels safe with her. He knows that no matter what happens, she's not going to blow up his life over a misunderstanding. He knows that with her, he can be real, he can be vulnerable, he can be himself without fear of being torn down. And do you know what that does to a man? It makes him want to commit. It makes him want to protect that relationship with everything he has because he knows how rare it is. Men don't fall in love because a woman looks good in a dress. They don't stay because of grand romantic gestures. They stay because of how a woman makes them feel. And when a woman makes a man feel emotionally safe, when she makes his life more peaceful, not more complicated, that's when he knows he's found his dream woman. It's easy to be great in the good times. Anyone can smile and be fun and flirty when everything's going well. But what defines a truly incredible woman is how she handles the difficult moments. Does she pull away, make him chase her, punish him for things he didn't even realize he did? Or does she meet the challenge with emotional strength, making it easier for both of them to grow together? That's what a man is looking for, even if he can't always articulate it. That's what makes him see a woman as the one. Because at the end of the day, men want peace. They want to feel like their woman is their greatest source of comfort, not stress. They want a relationship that feels like home, not a battlefield. And the women who understand this, they're the ones men don't just desire, They're the ones men choose for life. There's something powerful about the way a man responds when he feels genuinely respected. See, men don't just crave love, they crave admiration. And I don't mean blind admiration where you're just throwing compliments around like confetti. I mean the kind of deep, authentic respect that makes a man feel seen, valued, and like he's the best version of himself when he's around you. A man can be wildly attracted to a woman, but if he doesn't feel respected by her, something inside him shuts down. He stops showing up in the way he did at the beginning. He withdraws. He gets defensive. He starts looking elsewhere for the feeling of significance. And it's not about ego. It's not about needing constant validation. It's about feeling like the effort he puts in, the things he does, and who he is actually matter to you. Because here's the truth. Men live for purpose. They want to be useful, they want to provide, and they want to feel like what they bring to the table is recognized. When a woman sees his efforts and makes him feel like they're appreciated, she becomes someone he doesn't just want to be around. She becomes someone he needs in his life. And it's not about playing games or stroking his ego. It's about understanding that respect is a love language in itself. And respect isn't just saying, I admire you. It's in the little things. It's in how you talk about him when he's not in the room. It's in how you react when he tries to do something for you. It's in whether you trust his decisions or constantly question his ability to handle things. It's in whether you see his strengths or only focus on his flaws. So many women don't realize this, but a man feels most connected to the woman who makes him feel like he's winning in her presence. Not that he has to be perfect, not that he has to have everything figured out, but that who he is, as he is enough. That doesn't mean you lower your standards or accept less than you deserve. It means you recognize the good in him. You acknowledge his efforts. You let him know that the things he does for you, big or small, don't go unnoticed. A man can handle a lot. He can take criticism. He can take challenge. But what he can't handle is being with someone who makes him feel like he's never enough. If everything he does is met with indifference, if he feels like he's constantly failing in your eyes, if every effort is met with, well, you should be doing that anyway, he will shut down. Not because he's weak, but because no one thrives in an environment where they feel like they're always falling short. The irony is, when a man feels respected, he wants to step up more. He wants to be better for you. He wants to give more because he knows it's appreciated. It creates a cycle of effort and admiration. And let me be clear, this is not about praising a man for the bare minimum. This is about seeing his efforts for what they are. It's about acknowledging that he's trying and that effort means something to you. And it goes both ways. Just like women want to feel cherished, valued, and adored, men want to feel like they're making a difference in your life. If you make a man feel like his presence doesn't add value, he'll stop showing up. But when he feels like what he brings matters, that's when he invests. That's when he starts seeing you as the woman he wants to build with, not just the woman he dates. So ask yourself, when was the last time you genuinely made the man in your life feel admired? When was the last time you acknowledged something he did without making it seem like an obligation? When was the last time you told him you believed in him, not because he had achieved something, but just because of who he is? Respect is one of the most underrated forms of attraction. It's not just about how you look. It's not just about chemistry. It's about how you make him feel in his own skin. If he feels like a better, stronger, more capable man when he's with you, you become irreplaceable. Because that feeling, that's something no man ever wants to lose. When a man thinks about his dream woman, it's not just about how she looks or the way she carries herself. It's about the way he feels when he's around her. And at the core of that feeling is a deep sense of connection, one that's effortless, one that feels like home. A man's dream woman isn't just someone he's attracted to. She's someone he feels a profound sense of partnership with. Someone who brings him a feeling of peace, support, and unwavering belief in who he is and where he's going. Every man, no matter how successful, confident, or independent, has moments of doubt. He has days where he questions whether he's doing enough, whether he's on the right path, or whether he has what it takes to succeed in the way he envisions. And in those moments, what matters most isn't someone who simply tells him, "You'll be fine," or throws out empty words of encouragement. What he truly craves is a woman who sees him, someone who understands his drive, his ambition, and the weight he carries on his shoulders. Not because she's responsible for making him feel better, but because she genuinely believes in him. That belief, when it's real, fuels him in a way that nothing else can. It's not about being his cheerleader, it's about being his partner. A man doesn't want a woman who is constantly trying to fix his problems or take on his burdens as her own. He doesn't want someone who makes him feel like he's incapable or in need of saving. What he wants is a woman who trusts in his ability to handle his own challenges, but who also stands beside him, reminding him of his strength when he forgets it himself. This kind of connection comes from presence, from a woman who listens, not just to respond, but to truly understand. She doesn't rush to give advice unless he asks for it. She doesn't diminish his struggles by saying it's not a big deal or trying to downplay what he's feeling. Instead, she acknowledges his emotions and holds space for them. She allows him to express himself without fear of being judged, without feeling like he has to filter his words to be accepted. That's rare. That's powerful. And that's what makes a man feel safe to open up in a way he won't with just anyone. But support isn't just about being there for the tough moments. It's also about celebrating the wins. A man wants a woman who takes pride in his victories, who sees the effort he puts in and acknowledges it, not just for the big milestones, but for the small ones too. A woman who notices the little things he does, the ways he tries, and doesn't take them for granted. Because deep down, every man wants to feel like what he does matters to the person he loves. And here's where it gets really interesting. When a man feels truly supported, when he feels that his woman is with him in a way that isn't forced, conditional, or performative, something shifts in him. He starts to want to do more. He starts to show up even stronger, love even deeper, and invest even more into the relationship. Because for a man, knowing he has a woman who believes in him and stands by him makes him want to be the best version of himself, not just for his own success, but for her. It's not pressure, it's inspiration. The right woman doesn't demand that a man rise to her expectations. She naturally brings out the best in him by the way she shows up in his life. And let's be clear, this isn't about being overly accommodating, sacrificing your own needs, or making your life revolve around him. That's not support, that's self-abandonment. True support means that you have your own dreams, your own passions, your own purpose. It means that you're not just an addition to his life, you're a force in your own right. And when a man sees that you have your own world, your own ambitions, and you still choose to support and believe in him, that's when the connection deepens on a whole new level. Because he knows that you're not there because you need him, you're there because you want him. And that difference changes everything. There's something undeniably attractive about a woman who is both independent and deeply connected. A woman who can be his biggest fan, but not at the expense of herself. A woman who uplifts him, but never at the cost of her own standards. A woman who knows how to balance closeness with space, who can be fully present in the relationship without losing herself in it. That's the dream, not just for him, but for you. Because at the end of the day, the most fulfilling relationships are the ones where two people don't just love each other, they make each other better. And when you show up in a way that makes a man feel truly supported, truly seen, and truly chosen, he'll know without a doubt that you're the one he's been searching for.